Wingers are one of the most important positions to pick from. There are a lot of wingers with a ton of value this season, and in this video I'm going to be going through my favorite wingers in terms of value in your fantasy hockey drafts for 25-26. This is going to be a good video, guys, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Starting this video off, we have Matthew Knies of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, there is a couple changes in Toronto this season, the most notable one being Mitch Marner is not on the Toronto Maple Leafs going into the 25-26 season as he was moved to the Vegas Golden Knights. But this does open up a lot of opportunity for arguably one of Toronto's, if not one of their best players, Matthew Knies, who for times last season, and that goes to my point, at times last season was Toronto's best player. And we saw that in playoffs last season of how effective of a power forward Matthew Knies can actually be. So right now he's currently at ADP 86, which is about round 6, round 7, a perfect time to grab him, a perfect time where I think his value is going to be really shown, and he's left wing eligible. And you're going to find a theme in this. There are a lot of really good left wingers this season. But for me, Matthew Knies seems to be a staple at around 6 and 7 to pay off really good value. So last season, he was one of 5 players with at least 150 shots, at least 150 hits, and over 25 goals. And the company for those players are very elite. Brady Tkachuk, Tom Wilson, Dylan Holloway, and Matthew Knies fits in that range, and that just shows how good of a floor he actually has going into this season. Now, last year, his minutes rose by plus 5 minutes to 18:31 average time on ice. And now with Marner not be on the team anymore, I do expect this number to hit over 20 minutes as he continues to see time on the top power play unit, on the top line, and potentially a little bit of a penalty kill role. He had stretches last season where he was the best player in the Leafs. Now we get to see a full year of line 1, power play 1. Now we do know last year he did not start the year on power play 1. They had a lot of changes. Toronto was really trying to figure out what their power play 1 was going to look like. They eventually went to a 5-forward top power play unit, which actually worked really well with Mitch Marner quarterbacking the top unit and Matthew Knies slotting in as the next forward up. But now with Marner gone, it seems to be Riley that's going to be quarterbacking the top power play unit, and Matthew Knies will step into that net front role. He missed just 5 games over the last 2 seasons, and there's a lot of upside going into this year. So we're projecting him for 80 games, 33 goals, 35 assists, 19 points in the power play, over 200 shots, over 200 hits, and 45 blocks. He's basically the same type of player as Vincent Trocheck, but does play the wing. So a lot of love for Matthew Knies going into the season, making him one of my favorite must-draft wingers. Moving on, we have one of my favorite value picks in the draft. I think Timo Meier could potentially end up as a top 40, top 50 player in fantasy because he pretty much just does it all. So he was a little bit of a disappointing pick last season. He didn't really produce the way everyone was hoping, but did have a strong second half post All-Star break. Now, I'm going to jump back quickly with Meier here at ADP 93 right now, going around the Valeri Nichushkin range, and I was talking with the other FP guys, with Chris especially, just would you take Nichushkin or Timo Meier? And for me, it's Timo Meier at that range because it's a guy that has shown he has more health than Valeri Nichushkin, but also just has overall better hit and shot numbers. So with Timo Meier here, you get a left wing, right wing eligible winger, which is extremely important for flexibility in your lineups. Allows you to take guys that have single position eligibility, like a sole left winger, Matthew Knies, for example. But let's jump over to Timo Meier's numbers, 23-24. Kind of a disappointing season. I had a lot of hype on him last year and have just as much hype on him this year. 26 goals, 53 points, 13 points in the power play, 238 shots on goal, 141 hits. Not the most glamorous numbers or the most glamorous stat line from a lot of players, but for Meier, it was the post All-Star break where he really shined. 11 goals, 85 shots, 185 shot attempts, and 54 hits in his last 25 games. He was top 40 in goals, top 21 in shots, top 13 in shot attempts. The shot attempts is the big number for me because as long as he continues to fire the puck, that just tells me he's getting good scoring opportunities. And this was also without Jack Hughes for the second half of the season. If we see Hughes healthy, I'm assuming this power play is going to be quite a bit better than what they were last year. And it looks like from the training camp that we're seeing the early lines right now, he is going back to play with Dawson Mercer and Nico Hischier on the second line, which is a very, very skilled line for the New Jersey Devils. For me, I assume he'll continue to skate in the top 6, continue to be either power play 1 or power play 2, and provide you with a ton of shots and hits and 40 goal upside. If you remember Timo Meier when he was on the San Jose Sharks, he was an elite fantasy asset. A ton of shots, over 40 goals, and a bunch of hits. And that's what he was doing last year with the New Jersey Devils, just scaled down a little bit. We're hoping he can get back to his form, get back to that 30 plus goal upside with 250 plus shots. So for this year, we're projecting 76 games played, 31 goals, 26 assists, 17 of those points in the power play, 252 shots, 131 hits, and 36 blocks. I think he's an extremely valuable asset at ADP 93. I can see him significantly outperforming that. The shots and hits combined basically speaks to how good of a floor Timo Meier has. He played in 80 games last year, 69 the year prior, so it does hold a little bit of injury, but we are projecting him to miss about 6 games a season, which isn't significant. So Timo Meier here is my second must-draft winger. We have a guy in Carter Verhaeghe that is criminally underrated this season, which is a term I've used a lot recently in some of my videos, but at ADP 126, he is being completely overlooked in drafts right now, because he had kind of a bad season last year, but we can kind of speak to the numbers to why he may have had that bad of a season. I don't understand why he's going around 9 and 10 outside of just him having one down year, but historically he's been extremely good. So last season he scored just 20 goals in 81 games, but his shooting percentage last year, 8.3%, which is 5.5% lower than his previous career low. I'm going to skip a little bit lower in the slide here. So if we multiply his shots on goal last season, which was 241, by his career shooting percentage at 14%, that would have gave him 34 goals. So 14 extra goals from what he had last season, which is a huge difference from the 20 goals he scored in 24-25. If he scored 34 goals last season, he's likely to be ADP 70, maybe 60, which is where he was going the last 2 seasons. But now he's at ADP 126, and you're getting him at a massive discount. So I went back and looked over the last 3 seasons with Verhaeghe, and this is including his 20-goal season. He had 96 goals, ranked 34, 763 shots, ranked 16, and 1,451 shot attempts, ranked 20. So he's a top 20 shot on goal producer, as well as a top 35 goal scorer. But again, if he had those 34 goals, he was likely to move up to a top 25 spot for goals for. So Verhaeghe here, very, very underrated. Matthew Tkachuk will be hurt until what seems like February of next year, meaning Verhaeghe should be in line to play a lot more minutes this season, top power play unit. So there's a lot of upside here from Verhaeghe. So this season, we're projected him 79 games played, 33 goals, 35 assists, 21 points in the power play, 256 shots, 63 hits, and 23 blocks. If you drafted him last year, do not be scared about drafting Verhaeghe this year. You're getting him at a great discount at ADP 126, and there's a good chance he will be my most owned winger in fantasy. Gabriel Vilardi was the spotlight of last year's Sleepers video. He was a guy I was extremely high on, and I'm extremely high on him again this year. He went down with injury late last season. I did have a 30-plus goal futures bet on him, and he ended with 27. He was injured for the last couple of weeks of the season, so that one hurt, but I'm still on Gabe Vilardi again this season at ADP 135 with dual position eligibility at center right wing. Now, I went back and looked last season because I wanted to see how much he actually skated with Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele. 1,127 minutes at all strengths with Connor and Scheifele, 2 of the league's most elite point getting and goal scoring forwards, and together as a trio, they had 96 goals for and just 52 against. Now, from what we're seeing in preseason, nothing has really changed. He's still skating with Scheifele and Connor. He's still on the top power play unit on an elite team. And last year, 11.06 goals for per 60 for the Winnipeg Jets on the power play, which was the #1 most efficient power play in the league. And Gabe Vilardi is going to reap the benefits of this. So on his 82 game pace last season for Vilardi, 31 goals, 40 assists, and 29 power play points. And this is a guy going in round 12 right now. He has the potential to be a 70-point player going to ADP 135, and I'm going to be all over that. So we're projecting him this season to miss some time at 73 games played, 32 goals, 32 assists, 26 points in the power play, 160 shots, 33 hits, and 36 blocks. Not the most exciting peripherals, but you're getting a guy in round 12 that has the upside to be a 70-point, 25-plus power play point player, and he's going to be skating with Connor and Scheifele for the entire season this year. So for Gabe Vilardi, he seems to be a great value pick again in draft. Staying on the Gabriel train, we have Gabriel Landeskog of the Colorado Avalanche going ADP 169. You're going to see that number for the next 3 players around 169, 170, because players that are going at the end of the draft are typically around that range based on Yahoo ADP. So Landeskog is a sole left wing position, and for me this season, he's purely a lottery ticket pick. But at this ADP, going pretty much at the end of the draft, it's really difficult to pass up. In the mock drafts, I haven't really seen a lot of people that are on him, and that's really good for you for watching this video. Now, he's extremely difficult to project for this season. We don't really know what we're going to see out of him. Will he be healthy for the full year? Are they going to kind of load management him this season and healthy scratch him for a couple games? I'm not entirely sure what we're going to see. But for right now, the good news is he is skating in the training camp right now, playing line 2 with Lehkonen and Brock Nelson, and he's on the top power play unit. Now, I went back and looked, and I was really surprised by this. So his last healthy season, which was 21-22, he played 51 games. In those 51 games, he had 30 goals, 59 points, 15 points in the power play, 150 shots, and 94 hits. That's a 48 goal pace and a 1.16 point per game rate, which is extremely elite for any player in the league, especially for Gabriel Landeskog. Now, for me right now, again, I'm going to expect a lot less in terms of the per game numbers from Landeskog, at least to begin the season. Again, because we just don't really know what we're going to see. We do have 5 games of sample through playoffs. He put up 4 points, 10 shots, 16 hits, played around 18 minutes per night, which is pretty good. So 4 points in 5 games is pretty solid for any player. But I do think we can expect a little bit less than his most recent per game rates, which was 21-22. But at this ADP, going basically at the end of the drafts, he could be a league winner. So we're projecting him. Again, this is very conservative and it's really difficult to project. But our projections for this season, 65 games played, 23 goals, 27 assists, 26 points in the power play, 141 shots, 90 hits, and 34 blocks. He could significantly outproduce those numbers and be that lottery ticket pick that ends up being a league winner. Or he can get injured really early into the season and basically call it a career. It's difficult to project, but these are the numbers that we've put together for Landeskog. And I think it's very low risk to be taking a guy at round 15, round 14. If he doesn't end up panning out for you, toss him on the IR and just grab the next best available player in your free agency. So it allows that flexibility for you as well. But Gabriel Landeskog this season could be one of the top lottery ticket picks in the draft. Moving on, we have a guy that I already talked about in my sleepers video, but I want to reiterate how good I think Cole Perfetti will be this season. His ADP really hasn't changed. He's at ADP 169 going near the end of the draft, and that's pretty good for a guy that has triple position eligibility and will likely be skating top 6 and on the top power play unit. With no Ehlers here, it's going to be Cole Perfetti that will be moving up to the top power play unit. We've seen that in the early preseason lines, that he's skating top 6, skating on the top power play unit. And that power play unit, as I mentioned in the Vilardi bit, was very good last season. 11.06 goals for per 60 on the power play. #1 in the league. And Perfetti is a skilled player. He's not a guy that hits, doesn't block very much, but he's a guy that likes to put up points, and that's what he did in his junior years in the OHL, as well as his first couple of seasons with the Winnipeg Jets. He had a career high in points last season with 15 points in the power play, while skating just 15 minutes and 11 seconds in 24-25. Now, these minutes will likely climb up to 17 plus per night. With Ehlers out of the lineup, Perfetti's going to be moving up, playing more minutes and more offensive opportunities, as well as skating on the top power play unit. Now, the interesting thing with Perfetti is he actually had 15 points in the power play while spending most time on the second power play unit. So that just speaks to how good he actually is in terms of being a playmaker and being a goal scorer in those high offensive moments. Now, I'm expecting him to reach career highs across the board this season. My biggest concern is just the lack of shot volume, the lack of hits, and lack of blocks. But you are getting a decent amount of upside with the position eligibility and, again, the opportunity for him this season. So we're projecting him for 79 games played, 60 points, 21 points in the power play, 187 shots, 60 hits, and 41 blocks. Another guy that's going very late in drafts that you can take as a lottery ticket pick to potentially exceed all of his previous career highs and be a potential league winner this season. To round out this list of wingers, we have Cutter Gauthier of the Anaheim Ducks. He's a sole left wing position, going basically at the end of the drafts at ADP 170 right now, similar to Landeskog and Cole Perfetti. With Cutter Gauthier last season, I will never forget in the preseason, his first preseason game, he had 20 shot attempts and 10 shots on goal. Our Discord was going a little crazy for him. We're like, okay, we got to make sure we draft Gauthier. He had a pretty underrated rookie season. It was underwhelming to begin, but he ended the season very strong and kind of showed what he could be as a professional player in the NHL. So in 82 games last season, he had 20 goals, 44 points, 190 shots, and that's the big numbers, the shot volume. 51 blocks, and 68 hits. He did this while playing under 15 minutes per night. So I went back and looked at his 5v5 rates in 2024 with a minimum 300 minutes time on ice. 0.91 goals per 60, ranked number 70, 9.5 shots per 60, ranked number 20, and 20.14 shot attempts per 60, ranked number 7. So he is a top 20 shooting player in the league at 5-on-5. And over his last 28 games, this is where Cutter Gauthier really shined. 11 goals, 77 shots, and 185 shot attempts, ranked 46 in goals, 31 in shots, and 32 in shot attempts. He shoots the puck at an elite rate. We just need to see those minutes go up from what we saw last season. He played about 14, 15 last year. I really want to see 17, 18 this year with more offensive opportunities in the top 6 and hopefully on the top power play unit. But the former 5th overall pick is now going into his second pro season, especially with a team. You have to develop, you have to learn chemistry, learn kind of the power play role. So with Cutter Gauthier, I think there's a lot of upside going into this season. We're projecting him for 82 games played, 50 points, 210 shots, 67 hits, and 50 blocks. He's really good for some of those deep league players, but also really good in some of those 10 to 12 team leagues that you can take a guy basically at the end of your draft, like with Perfetti and with Gabriel Landeskog. It's a no risk play near the end of your draft where this is a guy that has the upside to be a 30 goal, 200 plus shot player. I think Cutter Gauthier could be a league winner this season. That will do it for the must draft wingers video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.